How do you lie in a review?
Is this serious?
Alright, I'm putting you in timeout because that is one of the dumbest. Look at the gameplay. He's fighting in the female enemy right now. Get that ass banned. She is hideous. Ugly. Stop.
You know, you can think she's ugly all you want. It doesn't really matter to me. But, Griffin, this you? Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one. Now, if you're not new here, you would remember that I just made a response video to Griffin Gaming's video about Ghost of Yotei, in which he lies multiple times, misrepresents the game, and disingenuously frames multiple things. So in his response, what does he do? Well, that's what we're here to figure out, and trust me, this video is even worse than the last one. I do just want to disclaim that he does have my video sped up, which, honestly, is better for this response video because it makes it a whole lot shorter if you've already watched the last one. But yeah, I just want to preface that that's not my editing. It's just how he watched it. This is from his live stream. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. But like, in the shortest way of describing it possible, this man blatantly lies about the game. He displays the—
I lie about it? How do you lie in a review?
Is this serious?
What, I didn't like the game that you did, so I'm a liar?
Oh, don't worry, Griffin. We'll get there. Like, craziest display of lack of media literacy. And, yeah, just straight up—
media literacy, dude. Yeah, go choke on a fucking homosexual's nutsack, bro. I already know you're a cock-gobbling leftist just off of that fucking terminology. If you can't see the foreshadowing a mile away, then I don't know what to tell you. You have zero media literacy. You have zero media literacy. You have zero media literacy.
Quick question of the rhetorical variety.
Of zero media literacy.
That's you, right?
Like every other grifter, right-wing, oh, woke this, woke that channel, yeah, they're all—
What did I say?
You got me.
What did I say? I knew he was a cock-gobbling leftist as soon as he said the word media literacy, so yeah. Easy. Of zero media literacy.
fucking brain dead, and they all make the same kind of slop content. And to the people that are gonna comment, oh, you're just a leftist liberal, blah, 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 blah. You just enjoy Sony slop, this game slop, blah, 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 woke that, woke this, I get no hose and I don't shower. Yeah, all I'm gonna say is, you just don't know who I am if you say, like, liberal.
I didn't even say the game was woke. Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of woke themes throughout this game. This guy's literally projecting.
That's you, right?
Or left wing or anything like that. And yeah,
I said the game was more boring than woke, and the only woke aspect was obviously they picked an ugly fucking leftist Asian woman to be the main character, and what, that they end up as a lesbian couple raising another man's child, just like The Last of Us 2. But yeah, I didn't really say the game was that woke.
I like how in the final sentence he goes from I didn't even say the game was woke, and then he says I didn't even say the game was that woke. Self-awareness, people, it's important. Yes, we're not even a minute into the video and we're already playing completely unrelated voice lines to try and make the game sound worse from a completely
It's a fucking meme, you retard. Go beat your head against a brick wall and do the world a favor. Holy shit.
related game. And mind you, that line from Freya in God of War Ragnarok that's like criticized by all the woke this, woke that people, they don't even understand why Freya said that, and they just were just like, oh my god, women empowerment, woke, blah, 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 blah. It's just so dumb.
Or maybe it's Ghost of Yotei. They don't understand why they fucking said— Dude, I've played the fucking game. I know why she says it. She's dominating Odin for the first time. She's standing up to the patriarchy. Like, it is literally exactly as bad as people think it is.
Guys, I played the game, so clearly that means I obviously understood it, as he proceeds to not understand it. She doesn't say that because she's fighting against the fucking patriarchy. She said that because she literally was Odin's wife, making her a literal queen, and now she's standing over him, making him look lesser after Odin has ruled the land for however long, oppressing, manipulating, and abusing the people that live there. It has literally nothing to do with the patriarchy. And I like how he's just like, dude, it was a meme. Go bang your head against a brick wall. It's like, first of all, I think if you banged your head against a brick wall, I mean, you probably did, which is why you make the videos you make, but besides the point, I don't care if it's a meme. You know what you're trying to do.
I don't know, I'm not that big of a weeb.
Pronouncing words correctly makes you a weeb. Griffin Gaming 2025.
But the point of the matter is Ghost— Holy fuck, dude. Is he really this fucking dense? That is literally the definition of what fucking weebs do. They try to pronounce Japanese words accurately, or, you know, hop on other people's fucking cock if they don't say the Japanese word correctly. Is this guy fucking stupid? Well, yeah, we know the answer to that one.
Griffin, in your video, you are literally intentionally mispronouncing words that you know how to say correctly, just to seem, I don't know, cool, I guess? Like, you look like a fucking— you just sound like a dork. Like, guys, I'm not a nerd. I don't need to pronounce these Japanese words correctly like Thank you, weebs. Like, bro, you sound more like a weeb than a weeb.
Ghost of Yotei is a ghost of a better game that came before it previously, and on top of that, it is a carbon copy of a worse game that came out earlier this year in the form of Assassin's Creed Shadows. What we're dealing with here is yet another Sony story slop title with their trademark like heckin' revenge bad dude storyline, because we definitely need another one of those, man. I mean, even IGN is getting tired of this shit at this point. When you've lost literally the games journalist outlet that has glazed every single subsequent release for the past decade plus, you know something is running amok here, because this is the same recycled story that we've seen time and time again from AAA game developers, especially from PlayStation, and games like God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, and of course, most famously, The Last of Us Part 2. And now Ghost of Yotei joins that list of games that have to reinforce the idea that revenge is actually bad, dude.
Okay, so first of all, God of War Ragnarok is not about revenge. The central theme of that—
Yes, it is! God of War Ragnarok is 100% that revenge is bad. The entire point of the fucking story is the fact that Kratos in the original trilogy finds out that if you go on a path of revenge, it ends up hurting more people than it helps, blah, blah, blah. You know, lay heckin' revenge bad, dude. The entire point of the original God of War trilogy was Kratos getting revenge on Ares and then on Zeus. And the subsequent games are literally talking about how his quest for revenge was bad. So, holy fuck, you want to talk about media literacy? Come at me, dog.
game story is about being better than your past self, and that your past self does not have to define who you are moving forward. You are—
Okay, but what was his past self doing? What exactly was his past self engaged in, you fucking brainlet?
not stuck in that box. The only bit of revenge, quote unquote, in that game is from like Thor, which is not even really the whole deal with Thor, because he's more of a parallel to Kratos.
Oh, you... This guy's a fucking fake fan. He probably hasn't even played the original God of War games. Who am I fucking kidding? You know, he's probably like, yeah, too much gameplay.
So, while I'm not going to literally break down every bit of writing in God of War 4 and 5, or in the first, 3 God of War games, I will provide you videos that you can watch from Fat Brett. They're both pretty long videos, but they do really go in depth with the character work, dynamics, themes, all the writing that goes into God of War Ragnarok and God of War 4. But I do also want to preface, you're right, I have not played all of the original God of War games. I've played God of War 1 and was going to start God of War 2 and 3, but I got busy during the time when I started that playthrough and never got back to it, but I will sometime eventually. Regardless of the fact, after I finished God of War 4 and 5, I took it upon myself to watch many story breakdowns, the game movies, or all the cutscenes and shit on YouTube, so that I could understand Kratos' past. And while, yes, Kratos' past, there's a big part of it that is revenge-based, revenge is not the only thing. Kratos is a ruthless, merciless, and unempathetic character all throughout God of War 1 through 3. But Kratos isn't just like this because of revenge, it's because he's someone who is completely controlled by his emotions and anger, which is why he murders numerous people, even if they have nothing to do with what happened to his family, or with the gods in general.
There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know. But I am your monster no longer. But I am your monster no longer.
The story is also about how gods and people within power can be very abusive, oppressive, and don't manage their power correctly. Their power corrupts them. But in God of War 3, we start to see the cracks within Kratos' character that we really like from God of War 4 and 5. With Pandora, we see that he does care about Pandora, and we see a side of Kratos that we never really saw before, which then, in God of War 4 and 5, follows up with Kratos having Atreus now, and his arc in that game is about realizing that godhood does not have to be a curse. You do not have to be the gods that came before. The power of godhood does not have to corrupt Atreus, which he was trying to hide from Atreus the whole game, and the power of godhood also does not have to shape Kratos' future. He's also grown in the sense that he tries to give mercy and give people the chance to be better. He also doesn't really know how to be affectionate to his son, because throughout God of War 1 and 3, his upbringing was not like that. He never really learned how to really show affection to someone. In God of War Ragnarok, they're still following up with the same theme of you can be better than your past self. Your past self does not define you. And yes, while that past self is largely based on revenge, God of War 4 and 5 are not revenge stories. The first 3 games were revenge stories, where it's Kratos going through the motions and us seeing what kind of character he is as he becomes worse and worse as a person, affecting innocent people who did nothing wrong in those stories. So you pointing out that, oh, well, his past self was about revenge, blah, 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 that's completely irrelevant. The things that Kratos learns, the themes, the way he grows as a character and goes goes through the motions of the story in those games is literally revenge is non-existent. It's about Kratos learning that godhood does not have to be a curse. There is a good part of godhood that can do good in the world. It's not him saying, me going for revenge back then was bad. So calling it a revenge story is fucking brain dead.
Boy, listen close. I'm from a land called Sparta. I made a deal with a god that cost me my soul. I killed many who were deserving, and many who were not.
Is this what it is to be a god? Is this how it always ends? Sons killing their mothers, their fathers?
No, we will be the gods we choose to be, not those who have been. Who I was is not who you be. We must be better. You lost everything and everyone. You became... There is no forgiving you. You chose! I chose. And now, should I, this same man, should I sit, take, proclaim, lead, place myself in service? In service? Should I lose everything and everyone? There's to be enough left inside so that I do not become you. I do not know, but I have hope. You are cruel and arrogant and selfish, but you are more than that. You have always been more than what others saw.
And then we move on to Spider-Man 2, and this is just the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, because revenge is like not even really brought up in that game. I made a whole 2-hour-long video talking about the character arcs and the themes and everything, bit of writing in that game. But the best way I can describe Spider-Man 2 in like as little a sentence as possible, I guess. That game's central theme and central like arcs, it's more about feeling like you're not adequate enough. And then in The Last of Us 2, which is one of, if not the only game like Yotei where revenge is like really the main theme, it's still handled differently, which I will get into more talking about Abby and Ellie's character arcs in that game. But they still have very similar themes, but Abby and Ellie are still two different characters with arcs handled differently from Atsu, and they both have, different character flaws and different things that they grow from. Not to mention, different worlds.
It's the overall plot that revenge is bad. No one's saying that it's the exact same story, bro. It's the exact same theme. It's repetitive.
Okay, and themes and everything in writing can be handled differently from one thing to another, making it not repetitive. You absolute moron.
It's literally ridiculous that I've had to come on and flipping explain something so stupid. It's ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous that I've had to address something so silly.
Building different side characters, different types of antagonists, etc. So saying all these games are just, given the same recycled story, it's the same thing, copy and paste, blah, 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 it's just straight up brain dead. There's literally one other game, Last of Us 2, from a PlayStation studio in recent years where the primary theme of the game is revenge. And even like the past 2 decades.
God of War Ragnarok and God of War 2018 are literally revenge is bad.
Wrong. That is absolutely wrong. Proved over and over again.
Wrong. That is the entire premise of the game, is Kratos teaching his son to be a better person than he was, herder.
Oh, well, it's a good thing that Kratos wasn't only a bad person because of revenge.
But I am your monster no longer.
And then Spider-Man 2 is literally revenge bad.
Wrong.
Because what happens in the story, fucking Miles Morales, forgives all of his enemies because he's such a great person.
While there is a theme in Spider-Man 2 of, villains and second chances, there is an element of Miles that does kind of want revenge for Martin Lee. But as the story goes along, it's not really that Miles wants revenge for Martin Lee. The reason he's so hell-bent on getting Lee is because he's scared, just like he was when his father died, that he will be powerless to do anything if someone like Martin Lee goes out there and hurts one of his family members or another innocent person. Again, following the theme of the main characters not feeling adequate or powerful enough. Atsu's motivations for going after the Yotei 6 and Miles' motivations for wanting revenge on Lee for a short period of time are two different things.
You're the one running away from your problems! You're the one hell-bent on revenge! Revenge? All I wanted was to protect my family! Protect you!
Also, Miles does not forgive Martin Lee.
I won't forgive you. It's just not in me.
I deliver a message. Shut it.
Now, the thing that all these games do have in common is it's something to deal with the past. Yes, a lot of stories do that, but guess what? Dealing with that kind of thing can be handled in so many different ways. Hell, most characters in most stories are motivated by something stemming from the past. That doesn't mean they're all recycled. And imagine using IGN, one of the most notoriously brain-dead gaming outlets, as a way to support one of your points against the game.
That's the entire point of using them, you fucking retard. Because IGN sucks the fucking cock of every single major Sony AAA release. And even they're starting to notice how similar the fucking fucking games are. This guy is not intelligent. Ooh, imagine using IGN as a source. No, you fucking half-wit. I'm not using IGN as an authoritative figure. I'm saying that even someone as fucking dumb as IGN is starting to catch on to this shit.
No shit. And my point was that you're just as stupid as IGN for pointing out the same thing that they did.
Just how dense can a person be?
I mean, even the final chapter of this game spells it out for the idiots in the back.
I still think that's hilarious. They can't even let the fucking person playing the game come to their own conclusion that revenge is bad. They literally have to spell it out for you.
I mean, if you want to talk about subtlety being dead, there's case in point.
There's nothing to be subtle about. If you've gotten to this point in the game, you know what it's about, and you can understand.
Okay, then why do they have to spell it out for you, dipshit? If it's so obvious what it's about, why did they have to literally put the words on screen? The cost of revenge. That was the entire point.
The flaws in Atsu's character. So criticizing the title of a chapter not being subtle just makes no sense in this context. That's like criticizing a TV show. Like, I don't know, let's say someone made a TV show about people kept as slaves or like being oppressed, and they titled one of the episodes, The Cost of Freedom. It's like, that's not an issue. There's nothing to...
That is not even remotely the same thing. That is not even remotely the same thing.
So what you're telling me is that the title of a chapter of a video game and the title of a TV show episode, which is a chapter in a TV show, are not even remotely the same thing.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
He also doesn't even explain why it's not the same thing. Even be subtle about. It's like if you made a Spider-Man story and you got the black suit and you titled one of the issues or like one of the episodes in a TV show, you've changed. It's like, what the fuck is the problem?
But in other parallels to other Sony-related properties like The Last of Us Part 2, the game even ends with 2 women raising another man's child at the close of the game. I shit you not.
So you're unironically trying to say it's a problem that the game ends with a girl being raised by her aunt who also happens to be her only family left, and a person who helped save all of their lives and stop an oppressive warlord. The same warlord.
Yeah, I'm pointing out a very similar trend to another game that was also released by Sony. Yeah, pattern recognition. You know, most people with above room temperature IQ can, you know, recognize patterns and point that out.
Can we just get a round of applause here for Griffin? He recognized the pattern. Can we see that? Like, oh my god, now explain what the problem is. That killed Kiku's father. Yeah, okay, sure, that's an issue, I guess. Like, what?
And the gameplay is pretty much a copy pasta from the original game with some minor tweaks that we will talk about when we get to that, but overall, man, this feels like a literal Control-C, Control-V situation. With Ghost of Tsushima, I can see why Sony was talking about why the budget for this particular game was a lot lower than their other titles, because this really does feel like an unwanted DLC to Ghost of Tsushima in all the worst ways possible. And it just is yet another game that follows the Ubisoft open world gameplay format that really just shouldn't. In all honesty, I think this game would have been a lot better if it was linear. The open world adds almost nothing to it, and the fact that you can instantly travel around the world with instantaneous load times really reinforces the fact that you don't really miss out on having to ride through the environment because they're empty, desolate wastelands half the time.
I'm gonna say this again, like I said in my last response video. It's literally a running meme with this game that people are so enveloped in the side content and the open world that they have barely even touched the main story path because there's...
Oh my god. Well, dude, not everyone gets distracted by fucking keys being jangled in front of their fucking face. Like, ooh, jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yeah, I agree, not everyone is rushing through the main path just so they can post a YouTube video early, grifting on the game and making a dog shit review about it. So much shit people want to do in the open world, and also...
What do they want to do? They want to go fucking chop bamboo?
Would you like to elaborate on why the bamboo strikes are bad minigames? No? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
They want to go paint with their touchpad?
Yeah, I mean, some people actually do enjoy looking at the visuals of a world and doing that while also getting rewarded for it. Now, me personally, I don't think they're the greatest piece of side content in the world, but it's not like that's the only piece of side content in the world.
They want to stroke their guitar?
I mean, most of the guitar side missions have interesting little characters that you learn more about, and they can also lead you to side content that you're missing throughout the world, so I don't see why that's bad side content.
What are they dying to go fucking do, man? What are these amazing activities in this open world that you literally just can't miss?
So just like in my last response video where another moron made this point about the fast travel, you have to explore the world to even unlock these fast travel points, you actual baboon. And later in the video, mind you, he's going to praise the fact that there's so many different fast travel points, so it's really easy to get around the map. You want to know why this goes directly against his point saying the open world is just a desolate wasteland? Because all those fast travel points are pieces of content. Like, you're just so...
No, they're not.
Content. You get the fucking point.
They absolutely are not pieces of content.
Wrong.
If I ride up to a fucking shack in the woods and it's a named location, that doesn't equate to content. It just makes it easier for you to fast travel so you can skip the monotonous riding on horseback.
Griffin, Every named location in the game, every POI has a piece of content. You absolute dunce.
Dumb. And saying a game is DLC just because it builds upon the gameplay systems of the first game is so goddamn brain dead. And we just need to retire this sentiment already. It's been going on since, like, I don't even know, like 2022. Because almost every sequel in existence would be called DLC by this logic. And hell, if a game dev made a DLC with a 20+ hour story...
Did I call it DLC? What, a Control-C, Control-V situation? And I said I saw why Sony said the budget was so much cheaper than their typical AAA video game budget? Because this really does feel like an unwanted DLC to Ghost of Tsushima.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Improved exploration, improved gameplay, and 50+ hours worth of content.
This game could have been DLC, though.
Sure, you might encounter a pack of enemies every once in a while, or yet another collectathon activity to go and interact with in order to get a skill point or increase your health, but there's nothing that actually feels worth exploring other than just checking a box in order to get your next upgrade.
Really, there's not. Okay, so I guess the abundance of side stories, boss fights, enemy bases, combat encounters, puzzles, cosmetics, and armor sets, and character progression, none of those are a good reason to keep exploring. I guess by that logic...
Nope, they're not.
Why?
You have no reason to explore in Elden Ring, you know, the newer Zelda games, or...
I mean, unless you find it super compelling to talk to an NPC that tells you, go pick 7 mushrooms or whatever the fuck, and then walk back to me. I mean, if that's super compelling to you, then that's fine, but... Or, you know, Ubisoft base infiltration. Again, if that's super compelling to you, that's fine. It's not to me.
First of all, none of the side content in this game is, like, really fetch questy. I can't even think of a single one off the top of my head that's, like, a fetch quest. And throughout the game, there's only, like, I think 2 missions in the main story, which is like just story stuff, like while you're doing something that's like, oh, go grab a resource or something. And for the combat bases, he's not gonna do it later in the video, but we'll just talk about it now. Care to explain why bases are bad content? You can't complain that the game, oh, I want to get back to killing samurai and, you know, being a samurai and killing everybody and combat and blah 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 blah, and then complain when you have bases with good level design that literally give you that. Like, what? If the combat was bad, then maybe you'd have a point, but it's not.
Any explorative open world games that have ever been released, hell, even linear games or open zone type games like God of War. It's like, why explore, bro? All you're gonna find is more content. Like, do you not see how fucking dumb you sound? On top of that, you have an...
Dude, nobody wants to explore the new God of War games. If anything, they just want to explore whatever fucking caffeine source they have on hand in order to stay awake.
Obnoxious main character that was obviously chosen for her political alignments, which I'm not even going to get to. 100 people have already covered that at this point. But just take a glimpse at the 2 voice actresses. There is a reason why in a game set in feudal Japan, they chose to not use the native Japanese speaker in order to be the face and voice of the character and then use English dub after the fact. There is a very deliberate reason why they chose this woman over the other one, because obviously one is far more attractive than the other, and the chuds don't deserve any attractive women in their Western video games. So I'm sure that's the reason why the character looks the way that she does.
You one of those challenge kids?
It's Dr. Shay. Could be on the spectrum.
I don't know what that is, but get off it pronto.
Or, and hear me out, they chose a fluent and native English-speaking woman who also happens to be Asian, who does a really good job in her performance to voice the character.
Okay, so no. You set a game in feudal Japan. You have an actual Japanese woman, and you choose to use the American lesbian instead. Nope, I don't buy it.
Griffin, both Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei are American voice-acted games. The woman that you use for the Japanese dub of the game does not fluently speak English.
For a game that has English as its primary language. And also, Atsu isn't even ugly. Like, she's not a fucking supermodel.
Yes, she is. Dude, people are so fucking brain rotted. She is hideous. Ugly. Stop.
You know, you can think she's ugly all you want. It doesn't really matter to me. But, Griffin, this you? Ain't this you? Or do I got you mixed up with someone? I could be wrong. But, like, this you?
What kind of names were these kids calling you at the pool?
Meathead, Fatso, Lard Butt, Wally the Whale.
Porky, Hog, Fat Ass, Double Wide, Butterball, those sorts of things, right?
You know, if you want to go date your sub-5 Asian toad, then fucking go for it, bro. But have some fucking self-respect.
But why would you even expect a character like Atsu to be that? Like, damn you, Sucker Punch, for not making...
Why would I expect it? Because why the fuck would I want to look at an ugly bitch in my video game?
A traumatized girl who was raised in war to look like Prime Megan Fox. Now what am I gonna beat my dick to when I need to take a break to wipe my...
I don't really like Megan Fox.
Say that again?
I don't really like Megan Fox.
This nigga's a homosexual.
And they did the bare minimum in order to differentiate it just in the slightest bit, so that Jen and Atsu don't feel like the exact same character to play as. First of all, exploration in this game is a massive improvement over Ghost of Tsushima, which is a huge element of the gameplay. The way you go about finding...
Yeah, it's still not good. Boo fucking who?
Why?
Things in this game is a lot more exploration based than it ever was in Tsushima, and the side content itself is a lot less repetitive and way more organically found, instead of just so many things being marked on the map for you. Second of all, you have numerous new charms, armor sets, moves between each new weapon, new throwables and ranged weapons, new enemy variety.
That's literally what I just said.
And things to account for with those new enemies, and the other things he's already mentioned. How the fuck is that even remotely close to just copy, paste, recycled, same game, bare minimum? Like, again, you'd have to apply this.
Because the gameplay is very similar. The main differences is you have different weapons instead of stances, but it's the same rock, paper, scissors combat style. And they added the addition of being able to throw enemy weapons as a throwable, and added a few new gadgets. Those are very minor tweaks in the grand scheme of things.
Griffin, you didn't even respond to my point, you just repeated yourself. I told you a list of things that are improved about Ghost of Yotei over Tsushima, and then you repeat the things that you only said in your video, which I provided more examples of, proving that it's not as similar or as DLC-ish as you put it. And as for the rock, paper, scissors point, I've already responded to that in multiple, like the past 2 response videos, so I'm not going over that again. Logic to literally almost every sequel.
And like I mentioned, this is another Sony game, massive air quotes, where about 80% of your time is spent walking, talking, and climbing, like I mentioned, and about 20% of it's spent in combat when it comes to the overall story aspect of the game. Granted, if you do the side activities, I feel like the ratio is probably about the same, man. There is a lot of dialogue, lots of cutscenes, and lots of walking segments in this game. So grab a pillow and a blanket, because you might actually need it. It is a Sony game after all.
Saying 80% of the game is just walking, talking, and climbing, it's like,
It is. I played it.
Did not play the same game. Anyone that played this game and is being honest would tell you that's not even remotely close to the truth.
No, it is. There is so much fucking traversal in this dog shit, bro. 30-minute segments of this game and the story where you are literally just walking, talking, riding on a horse, climbing up a mountain, watching another cutscene. Oh, time to get back on the horse. Maybe you'll fight 10 enemies, and then it's rinse and repeat. So, nope, this game is heavily fucking cinematic / climbing simulator with, you know, a little bit of gameplay sprinkled in for, you know, I guess, whatever.
Okay, Elden Ring is the same thing. Most of the time you're playing Elden Ring, you're on your horse exploring. And what are these fucking 30-minute sections in the game where you're just walking and talking? Please provide me with that. The only thing even remotely close to that I can think of is like the mission where you go camping with Oyuki, Jubei, and his daughter, and that is not a 30-minute section. That shit literally took me like 10 minutes to do. And again, it's good story stuff, so it's like, what? Like, I'm gonna say this again. If you don't like story-driven games that you know will have cutscenes like this and have some slow moments to focus on the characters, why do you keep playing these games? That doesn't make them bad just because you don't like them. And like, this is how I know bro just like completely skipped over so much of the side content in the game, because if you traverse throughout the world, you run into so many combat encounters. Again, there are so many boss fights, there are so many bases, outposts, like there's so much combat in the game that you are just straight up lying. But obviously, dealing with Griffin here, as we will continue to see as the video plays out, this is not a very honest person making a genuine review on the game.
Yeah, not honest, dude. It's not like I played it on stream.
Is this serious?
Yeah, you are like bottom of the barrel stupid. Like gum under the table type shit. You playing a game on stream doesn't mean you can't disingenuously frame things and lie about what happens in the game. You literally do it in your video.
And of course, the gameplay wouldn't be complete without everyone's favorite ghost ability, which is comically bad in this game, I must say.
Griffin, if you lived in this time period and had someone who's killed the most oppressive people in your area, is described as a literal ghost, and is slaughtering the people around you.
Is this fucking...
Skip it up, fucking loser faggot.
Really gonna go like, dude, if you saw a woman with a sword, you would be shitting your pants.
As she may or may not have a wolf also fighting alongside her. Then harsh wind starts blowing from behind her as if she controls that shit while she's doing everything else.
Wait, is he really he's acting like this is a realistic scenario. That she starts screaming, the wind magically blows behind her, she summons a wild wolf to fight alongside. Bro, what the fuck is this shit? Come on, bro. You're really trying to act like that's actually even a realistic scenario? Saying, bro, what if you saw this happen? It would never fucking happen, you dumbass.
Are you retarded?
Literal gum under the table. Dog shit under my shoe level intelligence. Griffin, no shit, it's not realistic. What a fucking mind blower. Kratos fighting a dragon and taking its head off isn't realistic either. But if that motherfucker wanted to fight me, I'd be shitting my pants. Like, what? You cannot be this dense. Like, it has to be an act, right? Like, surely you can't be this stupid.
The whole point is how over the top and retarded it looks.
you would shit your fucking pants. Hell, you'd probably shiver in real life if you even just have to drive through the hood at 1 p.m. on a Monday. Like, shut your bitch.
Oh my god. That's pretty racist, man.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry.
What would I have to be afraid of in the hood, bro? What would I have to be afraid of in the hood? What exactly is so scary about the hood, bro? Could you elaborate a little bit?
Well, as someone who spent quite a bit of time there as I was growing up, what are you trying to insinuate, though, Griffin?
Ass up, bro. Like, you're only saying this shit is cringe. Like, if you even just have to drive through the hood.
Shut your bitch ass up.
At 1 p.m. on a Monday. Like, shut your bitch ass up, bro. Like, you're only saying this shit is cringe because it's a woman.
But one of the biggest things you'll notice that's...
Yes! It is cringe because it's a fucking woman.
Got him. We fucking got him.
I don't think I stuttered when I made that fucking point, dipshit. That was the entire point I was trying to make. It's fucking cringe because it's a woman.
Good God, have you ever talked to a woman before?
Yes, I've talked to women before. No, I don't need your help.
Was it during the birth canal, or?
It's a little fucking Asian bitch.
Play similar. Now, again, I wouldn't know, but if it is like Ghost of Yotei, hell, I might give it a try because the gameplay is amazing. But I've also watched a comparison video from a YouTuber named JV. I was on his channel called JV Plays, and despite me not playing Shadows, everything JV describes about how Shadows is, like compared to Yotei, whether it be gameplay-wise or content-wise, everything is done better in Ghost of Yotei. And everything described in that video, like the exploration and the side content being better in Yotei, the combat, the quality over quantity, it all sounds pretty...
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Shadows was more enjoyable, personally.
Okay.
And unfortunately, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ghost of Yotei is paired with an equally empty, bland, and lifeless open world with the typical checklist activities in the form of minigames and events in order to gain upgrades and skill points. You literally have a minigame that involves you stroking a guitar. No, I'm not fucking joking. You're flicking coins, chasing foxes, chasing after birds, painting with the touchpad, and stopping by the hot spring for some good old-fashioned gaming fun. You know, say what you will about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth having too many minigames, at least their minigames were fun. Now, you also have your typical Ubisoft outpost capture events from Far Cry, which you can capture from the Saito forces and turn it over to the Matsumae clan, which is the friendly faction in the game. But generally speaking, man, if you have played Assassin's Creed Shadows, even the side activities are almost identical in this game, which, again, I know Assassin's Creed Shadows was copying the homework of Ghost of Tsushima to a very high degree, but if you have played both of these games in the same year, you are going to get worn out and bored of Ghost of Yotei pretty fucking quickly, unless you were the world's biggest Assassin's Creed Shadows fan, which I don't really think there was too many of those.
I like how he just conveniently doesn't mention the numerous side stories, boss fights, and bounties, puzzles, and combat encounters within the game content. Also, what is the problem with things like enemy bases and...
Why don't you like what I like?
Griffin, I could not care less if you like this game or not. My problem is when you make a video disingenuously criticizing it and lying about it and calling the game slop in that it's a 5 out of 10, it's a mediocre game. And your reasoning as to why is fucking dog shit.
Outposts, is it literally just because Ubisoft has done that? Like, who gives a fuck if other games have stuff like this? If you have fun gameplay, then...
Who gives a fuck? It's like literally one of the most... you know, just repetitive, formulaic, copy-paste aspects of Ubisoft games that everyone complains about. Literally everyone complains about Ubisoft games being too formulaic. So if other games copy the Ubisoft formulaic, you know, game development recipe, I think the same criticism also applies.
You see how he's just like, guys, other people criticize these generic Ubisoft games for having formulaic content and blah, 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 blah. That doesn't mean all the content in a Ubisoft game is bad, even if it's been done before. Again, you can criticize base-type missions if they have poor level design, or if the gameplay that you're engaging in within those levels are bad. But you do not actually give an explanation as to why these missions are bad in Ghost of Yotei or other Ubisoft games. Saying it's formulaic does not actually tell me why it's a bad mission. Like, you can say, oh, pizza's a generic food, you see it everywhere, you can get it anywhere. That doesn't mean I won't stop and get me a slice. Pizza can also be made better by different people.
They are fun to do, so what is the problem? Like, again, I guess you would have to put Elden Ring and numerous other great open world games in that same boat as Yotei and call those generic as well, because...
Oh my god. What fucking Ubisoft outpost capture events does Elden Ring have, buddy? How many of those are in Elden Ring? I'm just curious.
You did not play Elden Ring. There are numerous castles, outposts, dungeons that have the same type of formula as the outpost and base type missions from Ghost of Yotei.
You know, how many little mini games do you have to do in Elden Ring in order to level up your character? You know, how many foxes and hot springs do you have to chase after? You know, how many guitar solos do you have to perform? How many paintings do you have to make in order to progress in Elden Ring? Just curious.
Obviously, these are different games with, you know, different content. And I also don't think we should be acting like Elden Ring doesn't have some weak side content. There are plenty of poorly poorly designed dungeons, reused boss fights, and underdeveloped areas in that game. If you want to hear me talk more about that, go watch my video about Elden Ring. But that's besides the point. I like how Griffin just keeps trying to conveniently brush under the rug the point I'm bringing up, and the reason I'm even mentioning Elden Ring in a comparison here is because of the fact that Yotei is not just mini games. You keep acting like that's the only bit of side content in the game, so I'm gonna say it one more time. Stop conveniently not mentioning this multiple side stories, boss fights, bounties, puzzles, and combat encounters that you get within the game's side content. So by your logic, if these are not reasons to explore the world, then nobody has any reason to explore an Elden Ring to find the very similar things within that game's open world.
They have things like this. And like even the mini games and the smaller parts of side content. One, the hot springs, they give you character progression with Atsubo's gameplay and story-wise. Like, how is that bad?
Dude, she literally talks about how she wants to get fucked in one of them. What an interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty interesting to hear a character ponder their thoughts about being close with someone when they are someone who largely closes off their emotions to other people and doesn't want to get close with them. But yeah, I guess let's just reduce that down to, she talks about wanting to get fucked, bro. What's so interesting about that? Like, you see what the fuck I'm talking about? This shit is just so dumb.
Side content. Would you rather be like AC where you just have a bunch of loot everywhere, and to get more health or defense points, you put on this hoodie or that fucking chess piece or something like that? And like the paintings, the little mini games, and some of the fox dens that don't feature like, you know, combat encounters. It's like, sure, gameplay wise, not all of those are the most engaging, but you get rewarded from them. And again, it's not like that's the only bit of side content in the game. And
you get rewarded from them because they're a fucking checklist activity, and instead of just giving you progress through the story, they make you do Ubisoft checklist activities. That's the entire fucking critique, you dumbass.
Dog, the only mini games that you can even say are like somewhat mundane in terms of gameplay, being the paintings. That's not really progression. That's just they give you cosmetics. The fox dens give you charms, but some of the fox dens have combat encounters and some of them don't. And for the songs, which is like really the only other part where it's like kind of mundane gameplay wise, that is also not really progress. They just give you songs to track other side content in the world. And again, like I said earlier, for most of the songs that you get, you meet an interesting character that you learn more about. Again, none of that is really crucial progression that you're missing out on. And these are the little parts of side content. They don't make up the whole game.
Shrines and like the altars of reflection. A lot of the time you have to explore and figure out your way around the environment to even acquire those things. And mind you, most of them are also in
No, you do not. It automatically takes you to them every single time.
President Biden, you have the mic. Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one.
You can literally go and buy maps at the fucking towns that put everything on the map for you.
Griffin, why are we lying again? The map seller does not give you all of these points of interest, and all of the shrines you have to find on your own. And even when you do get a map to an altar of reflection, oftentimes, even if you have where the location is, you will have to figure out your way to get to it, which is engaging exploration.
Visually stunning places, which is just a bonus. But like, how is that not engaging or rewarding gameplay? Like, one of my biggest problems with this like copy and paste YouTube review slop content, especially when it comes to slop content like Synthetic Man, Griffin Gaming, Critical Drinker, Endymion, etc. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. It's when people like this say these things about like media, whether it be games, movies, blah 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 blah, etc. They'll be like, this thing is an issue, and then they don't actually explain why something is an actual issue. Like, for example, someone would be like, guys, look how bad the story is.
Because if you compare something to a Ubisoft game, most people have the mental acuity to go, oh yeah, I've played a Ubisoft game. I know what he's talking about. Not everybody has a below room temperature IQ that has to have everything explained to them every single fucking time. I am so sorry that my audience has a higher than average intelligence.
He's just proving my point, and it's fucking hilarious. Mind you, I've already went over why what he said earlier about the Ubisoft type bases is fucking stupid, so I'm just not gonna repeat myself.
Is this character did this? Isn't that so stupid? It's like, okay, why is that stupid? You'll rarely get an answer from one of these channels. And another thing I hate,
why is that stupid? Okay, bro. Again, I shouldn't have to explain everything. Like, I'm not making videos for literal fucking, like, 3-year-olds.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Again, whether it be like games or movies, they'll point out like one of those things has like a small amount of something that's either bad or not that good, and think that they have like some grand point about the whole thing being bad, or the whole part of that thing being bad.
What? Give me a specific example of when I did that.
I'm so glad you asked.
Quick question of the rhetorical variety.
You know, how many little mini games do you have to do in Elden Ring in order to level up your character? You know, how many foxes and hot springs do you have to chase after? You know, how many guitar solos do you have to perform? How many paintings do you have to make in order to progress in Elden Ring? Just curious.
That's you, right?
But that is also the section of the video where he praised the fast travel that I mentioned earlier, where it like contradicted one of his points. So if you care to watch that, you can just go watch his video.
It contradicted one of my points, that it's a good thing that the game has a generous fast travel system because it's not worth exploring the open world. I don't know how that contradicts one of my points.
Do I need to use this again? I guess so, because Griffin is just this fucking dumb. Content.
Being yet another game that is more boring than it is woke. The wokeness of this game is not even scratching the surface when it comes to the cardinal sin of this title, and that is the fact that it is just genuinely yet another copy-paste Sony revenge bad storyline that genuinely will put you to sleep before it'll make you chuckle at just how comically woke it is.
Ah, yes, the typical copy and paste revenge bad story that's literally been done by one other Sony game in the past like 2 decades. And Ghost of Yotei.
He wants to call out other people's media literacy, but he doesn't even understand how other Sony games have revenge bad as a core plot line.
My brain is being fucked right now.
Still does something different with this theme. Like, by this logic, Ghost of Tsushima is just a typical story, because stories where the characters have morality coming into question for the greater good have been done before. I guess Ghost of Tsushima is just copying Marvel and DC's homework, because those brands have characters such as Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, etc. that have all tackled similar themes. So I guess Ghost of Tsushima is just, copy and paste slop, because, Batman Under the Red Hood is also a story where Batman's...
I think Ghost of Tsushima is copy-paste slop. It's another Ubisoft game. I don't fucking like Ghost of Tsushima.
Whether or not you like Ghost of Tsushima is completely irrelevant to the point that I'm trying to get across, but you don't even listen to the point that I'm trying to get across. And the point that I am trying to get across, regardless, was something I've already said earlier in the video. Just because a similar theme of something is used does not make it copy and paste slop. Holy shit. Like, I don't know, Griffin, let's give me some stories that you like. Give me a couple stories that you like, and I'll tell you why they have a similar theme to another thing and call it copy and paste fucking slop.
Morality is challenged by someone trying to convey that these villains don't care about your code, and you only cause more harm than good by keeping that code. You see how comparing things like this and saying they're copy and paste just because they have a similar thing and or, concept is just fucking brain dead? And like, Ellie's arc in The Last of Us 2 is her understanding by the end of the story, and you can criticize her arc all you want, I'm just explaining what it is, but it's her understanding by the end
It's retarded.
That story that Joel wouldn't want this for her. It's her understanding that Joel didn't keep her alive just to throw her life away like this. But the consequences that Ellie faces for this is her ending up alone, which was like her character flaw, her fear in The Last of Us 1 that she did not want to happen. It's a story that does not have a happy ending. And Abby, a person who changes because of a child similar to Atsu, is still different. Abby changes and starts taking care of Lev because after killing Joel, her life was still the same. She got nothing out of it. She already got her revenge. And none of that still bettered her as a person or gave her closure to keep moving forward with her life. But taking care of Lev, a person who lost everything just like her in terms of family, and gave her
a person because it's a fucking troon.
Or, and hear me out here, because it's a person. What?
New purpose in life and allowed her to move on from that revenge. Atsu's arc starts with her thinking she has nothing and that she's also she's also a loner, but throughout the course of the story she winds up befriending many people like the Weapon Masters, Oyuki, and a few other side characters, and also finding out that her brother is still alive and that she also has a niece later in the story. And after her fight for revenge causes bigger problems for the world and for her own family on numerous occasions, Atsu by the end of the story has to make a decision to let revenge go in order to fight for what she has in the present as opposed to what she lost in the past. These are very blatantly different character arcs, and again, like I said in the beginning of the video, this is without even mentioning the differences in the world building, the side characters, and the antagonists between the two games. Just because something tackles something similar or does something similar does not mean it's a copy and paste, and it doesn't mean it's generic, the buzzword that so many...
No, the Sony formula is generic at this point. The lay heckin' sad dad, emotional story, third person, over the shoulder, open world, emotion simulator. Like, dude, the Sony formula is generic as fuck. Sorry.
Ah, yes, all of these Sony formulaic generic slop games that all have vastly different gameplay from one another. And... different stories, different level design, different pieces of content, etc. But they're generic because, and I quote, they're third person and they have emotion. Okay.
Yes, sirree. Thought about killing myself.
People like to use. And to be fair, you can say generic and it'll fit sometimes, but that's definitely not the case here.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of woke themes throughout this game. Atsu is definitely a girl boss from start to finish.
You.
Me. She has literally fought in a war for 16 years straight prior to this game taking place. Whenever she interacts with men, she always has this very, distinct disdain in her voice. You can tell that they're trying to position her character as a man-hater, and whenever she's interacting with women, she's bubbly, warm, and personable. On top of that, there's an entire subplot line in this game where you have to go and acquire the pistol, which basically boils down to a gun control good type storyline about why you shouldn't sell guns to normal people because they'll go and do bad things with it, and instead we should trust the good old government to do it for us. I mean, there's many instances, and I could spend a lot of time listing them off, so...
We are just straight up lying about the game. But before I get into that, first of all...
No, we're not straight up lying about the game. Tell me how I'm lying about the game.
You're saying Atsu is a girl boss because she's sticking up for another woman being harassed and then proceeds to beat up, you know, all the samurai involved. Okay, so is she also—
Yeah, dude, a fucking 130-pound woman beats up 10 men with her bare fists. Stop. Stop. You will never make a good case for why that is reasonable. Even if she had a sword, it's not realistic. But with her bare fucking fists, shut the fuck up, bro.
Griffin, you know what else is not realistic? Batman beating the shit out of 50 thugs. Jin Sakai beating the shit out of 20 Mongols. Literally any stealth game. Like, really, do I actually need to explain how dumb that point was? Like, actually, do I feel like I shouldn't have to, right? Like, surely I can just move on, right? Yeah, I'm going to.
Fuck. Oh my.
So a girl boss when she does the same thing to other women in Saito's faction who are oppressing innocent people? Is every female character in any piece of media a girl boss when they are highly skilled and beat up people? Or is it just when they do—
Yes.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Let's also just forget the snake almost kills Atsu and the Oni and Lord Saito completely embarrass her the first time she encounters them. And you lie saying that Atsu has an explicit disdain for men in the game? Like, yeah, let's just—
She literally does.
forget the numerous side missions where she not only respects men, but also may also resonate with them. Examples: basically every single one of the weapon masters where Atsu learns a new skill or gets a new weapon. Takizo the Unrivaled, her brother, the final brother from the TMNT Easter egg side mission. Jin Sakai, the Spider Lily General, the Undying Samurai, the man with the pet bear. Or what about the Ainu side mission where she's able to reason with a woman to stop doing more than she can handle, and also respects that woman's son in that side mission? Or what about the bounty mission where she has an explicit disdain for a woman luring in innocence for the shit?
What about? All right, now show all the dialogue, please. Show me all the dialogue that corresponds to all of those things.
Okay. Yuri, you finally returned. I've waited so long. I won't make you spar again. You can paint as much as you want.
I'm sorry. I'm not Yuri, but I understand the loss you feel.
Yuri, I never imagined you become so skilled.
Your daughter isn't coming back.
I'm sorry I didn't let you paint.
I didn't want to fight you, Father.
I only wanted to teach you how to protect yourself.
You did, Father. I'm strong now, thanks to you.
Such skill. I'm impressed. You can fight your own battles now. You don't need me anymore.
I don't. I'm safe.
Then I can finally rest. Step away, now!
I meant no harm.
Don't play your games with me, bounty hunter.
I know you're not the murderer the dragon made you out to be.
You don't fool me. My brothers sacrificed themselves so I could live!
We don't have to be enemies.
Who are you?
Someone who knows what it's like to bury their family.
Does the pain ever stop?
No. But it's not always so sharp.
If you're not going to turn me in, what happens now?
Now, I dig a grave and tell Kojiro you're dead. But you'll have to leave Ezo.
Then I guess this is goodbye.
What's your name for the grave?
Yoshitada.
Good luck, Yoshitada. So this is where the former samurai fled. The man you spoke of sounds like a hero. Why did the old shogunate outlaw his story?
Perhaps the shogun saw him as a threat to his authority. A legendary hero who defied convention and succeeded where the samurai failed.
Too bad he's not still alive. I'd buy him a drink, trade stories about foolhardy samurai.
Something tells me he'd enjoy that. As for the Stormblade, I believe it has found a new master.
I'll put it to good use, and I will honor his sacrifice.
I don't think I need to play literally everything I mentioned, because the people who have actually played the game and are genuine and honest know that I'm not lying. But they do know that you are lying.
Do you know what's funny, too? This guy's using other people's gameplay. Do you think he's even played the fucking game?
Is this serious?
Nobi, Atsu doesn't hate men, she hates scumbag men and women alike. And why are we acting like the topic of women being less respected is something that doesn't belong in this game? Which, mind you, Ghost of Tsushima has the same thing. But like, look at the fucking time period it's in. Like, by this logic, Red Dead 2 is woke because you can find and kill the KKK and—
Well, it is woke, but, you know.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? I'm just
the fact that racism is a theme in that world. Like, you just sound so fucking stupid and you're just blatantly lying about the game. And the other thing he says about the Pistol Master side mission, nothing in that side mission talks about the government. It's literally about how the Gunmaster realizes he shouldn't be selling weapons to the people literally terrorizing the island they're living on. And the side mission isn't even preachy, it's just spitting facts like, yeah, no shit, it's a good idea to not be selling guns to people who are likely to do terrible things with said weapon. The guy was only doing it because—
That's right, dude, we need universal background checks.
What the fuck are you talking about?
he needed money, but he realized the mistakes in what he did. Like, Griffin, you're just such a fucking moron. Like, genuinely, you are cherry pick. You're not
The person who sells the gun is just as responsible as the person who uses it. Oh no, my bleeding leftist heart. Oh, ban all the guns.
Oh, brother.
Now, do I think the woke shit is even center stage in the actual game itself, and especially the story? Not really, man. It's mainly just undertones. It is nothing as overtly woke as something like Silent Hill F that came out recently, or a game like Spider-Man 2 that Sony released previously as well.
Holy fucking shit. So you're just subtly admitting that you're just straight up grasping at straws without blatantly saying it. And you also did the same thing for...
No, you fucking idiot. I'm saying that even though it has woke themes, it's not a major focus of the game. I'm giving it credit while also criticizing it. These guys are genuinely fucking stupid.
Griffin, you have spent numerous minutes in your video talking about woke this, woke that. So you saying, well, guys, it's not extremely woke, but it's still woke. It's like, do you not, like, I really like this video, man.
It's genuinely ridiculous.
Spider-Man 2, and probably did for Silent Hill F, which I still haven't played yet, but I can't trust the word Griffin says because he's a fucking moron. And he's also proven on multiple occasions, not just in this video, but in previous videos, that he is not honest, and also just has an explicit lack of media.
What have I lied about?
You play as a girl named Atsu, whose family gets killed by a feudal Japanese lord by the name of Saito in his Yotei 6. At the beginning of the game, there's not really much explanation for why he went and decided to kill your family, but essentially, they're all killed off. You are pinned to a tree with your father's sword. He lights the tree on fire and leaves you for dead. However, you survived this incident, and now you are on your quest for revenge. Now, it's later revealed that she and her brother actually led Lord Saito back to their house while they were out gathering mushrooms, so she blames herself for her family's death, even though he obviously already knew where they lived because they were like probably 50 feet away from the house the entire time during that sequence. But yeah, she feels a deep sense of guilt for her family dying at the hands of Lord Saito. And in the beginning of the game, it's revealed that Atsu's father is this famous blacksmith, and at one point he worked with Lord Saito. Now, at one point he decided to abandon Lord Saito and go live his own life and start a family, and apparently because of this, Lord Saito and his men, like, starved or something. Like, I don't really know how a blacksmith leaving your company would result in everyone going through mass starvation, but that is the plot that we are left to deal with.
Saito is mad at Kengo because he left Saito's clan while they were dealing with a lack of people and resources, which led to starvation that his child died from. What about that does not...
Wait, no. So, you're making the point that they were going through a lack of resources, and as a result, were going through starvation. Wouldn't people leaving be the correct solution for a lack of resources? Because then you have less mouths to feed.
You also have less people to help you rob people. You also have less people to help you fight off from an attack. You also have less people to use to hunt. Why do you think in, like, an apocalypse story, for example, people are better off in groups as opposed to being alone? Boy, it's a real mystery. Like, you're such a fucking dumbass. And I'm sorry, you fucking dumbass. Let's say that you were in Lord Saito's position, and you have this clan, and you have all these people start to abandon you as a result of one person leaving, and then everybody starts to leave. You're telling me you hold no personal feelings towards that person. This is the thing you're saying doesn't make sense.
It's genuinely ridiculous that I've had to address something so silly.
Because of Atsu's father leaving, Lord Saito's daughter starved to death, which this is never really explained because Lord Saito and his 2 adult sons survived, but his young child daughter starved to death. So 2 grown men and their father survived, but the daughter starved, even though she would require less food and would have to do less physical activity. Again, the story is completely nonsensical in a lot of cases.
Holy shit, you're a
Here we go. Let's hear the explanation for this one.
fucking moron. Children literally do need to eat more because they are growing.
Guys, a 7-year-old girl needs 1,200 calories a day. 20-year-old man need 2,400. You can't make this shit up, bro. You really can't.
You could have figured this out by doing one Google search. And also before some...
you could have Google searched. No, you fucking Zog slave. I actually can think critically. I don't have to Google everything.
Guys, I'm afraid he's got me. I'm cooked. You see, because by looking up how many calories should an adult and a child eat per day, and seeing that one should eat more, that totally goes against my point of starvation. Oh, but wait, what's this? A recent article that literally was posted in August about children starving much faster in Gaza? And this article has multiple medical professionals explaining why children are more likely to starve? Huh, that's crazy. Wait, where have I seen that before? Griffin, how many calories you should be eating and need to be eating are 2 different things.
Fuck. Oh my.
And just to make you sound even more dumb, like let's say hypothetically Griffin was right and that adults need more to survive, or that they are more...
They do.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
wrong.
Proved over and over again.
Wrong.
Likely to die of starvation as opposed to children. That still doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense that the child died. If there's limited rations for a group of people and they're all starving, some people have the mental fortitude to survive longer than other people in such scenarios. This isn't even just a thing from starvation. It can stretch to something like physical abuse or physical injuries. For example, when I was like a freshman in high school, I broke my ankle while I was in the middle of a basketball game. I then went and played the other 2 minutes left of that basketball game while I had a broken ankle. And I know someone's gonna say, oh, well, that's just adrenaline. Okay, for another example, many people struggle very much to walk on sprained, limbs. But there are many athletes that push through that and still continue to play games even before the adrenaline kicks in. Because mentally, they are fighting through the pain. This is a basic concept that literally has been around for centuries.
But apparently, this blacksmith was integral in order for Lord Saito to provide food to his troops and family as an extension, and therefore that is why he is set on his path of revenge to get revenge on Atsu and her family.
So, dude, this is the biggest cope ever for just bad writing.
No, this is the biggest cope ever for you making dog shit points.
Even if you want to go with this fucking bullshit hypothetical, like, oh, well, technically, it's still shitty writing, dude.
Why?
What you're admitting to is that you don't understand why the person that is integral in that group to weapon making and maintaining for things like, hunting or, defending themselves and...
Hunting? Yeah, let me go hunting with my samurai sword. Is this really, like, what we're fucking dealing with here, guys?
Oh, the irony of you asking that while saying the dumbest shit ever, bro. Do you think that blacksmiths only make swords? Like, oh my, you... Also, regardless, bro, you could use a sword to hunt. Like... Oh my god, man.
Feudal Japan? You don't understand why it would be a problem like that for someone in Saito's clan to leave, when they are already short-handed on resources and people. Holy shit. You are one of the...
Oh my god, bro. This is insane.
...dumbest people on the platform. And it's so funny to me that other lobotomites swarm to watch people like this and support them.
Other lobotomites. Oh my god, bro.
Where's the lie? Anybody who wants to talk about you caping so bad, tell me where's the lie. You can't. Where's the lie? What did I just say that wasn't true? Everything I said has been backed up. It's facts. You tell me where I lied. You tell me where I lied. I'll give you fucking I'll super chat you or give you a Venmo account or a cash app. I'll cash up you some money. Nothing I just fucking said was a lie. Not a damn thing.
But he and his Yotei 6 pull up at the house, they kill your family, and it follows the typical revenge bad story slop storyline of Atsu trying to track down the Yotei 6, kill them, and cross
this guy is dense as fuck, bro.
Names off her list with their blood. Now, throughout this journey, in order to kill the Yotei 6, she does meet one of the companion characters in the game named Oyuki, who is the former Kitsune, which was a member of the Yotei 6. Now, she has recently defected from that group, or more so kicked out, because she didn't want to go along with Saito's evil ways, man, because only men are allowed to be evil in this particular game.
What the fuck are you even on?
That is true. There's not a single female villain in this game.
Like, there are literally women in Saito's faction and in bounty missions.
Who?
This is one of my favorite parts of the video because in the gameplay that I'm showing on screen, they're literally fighting a woman member of Saito's faction, and someone points this out in his chat. And just wait and watch what happens.
The Kitsune, who turns out to be heckin' good and wholesome.
They're horrible people, and the game makes it explicitly clear that what Oyuki did and was a part of was also horrible on her part. Like, you're literally...
Yeah, and, she redeems herself because deep down, she was actually a good person, and she tried to release you the night that they went to kill you, and she didn't actually want to kill you in the first place. Oh my god, bro. It's sick. I don't know how you can be this purposely retarded, but, I think it's more just disingenuity than, actual... stupidity.
It's disingenuous for me to point out that the Kitsune was a horrible person. It doesn't matter if she redeemed herself. You literally said verbatim that men are the only people allowed in this game to be evil. Yet the Kitsune was not a good person. And again, the game makes that explicitly clear. And I also mentioned that there's multiple bounty missions where women are horrible people. For example, there is a bounty mission where Atsu figures out that there is this old woman luring people in to poison them, or maybe not poison, or kind of just a roofie type deal, so that they could be killed by the shinobi. There are literally women in Saito's faction doing shit for him.
Really just lying and trying so hard to make it seem like this game is trying to spread some preachy message. Like, just give it up, bro. Holy shit.
It is preachy. Revenge bad.
Oh, so now it's preachy because of revenge bad and not because all men are evil, which was the point you were literally just trying to make. But regardless, the game's message isn't even necessarily revenge bad. I would more so say it falls along the lines of don't let the past disrupt what you can build in the future. And there's just so many levels of stupidity to say this because like if you're gonna say this game is preachy because it's a revenge story and she grows to grow past her revenge, then I guess God of War 3 is also just a preachy game. Like God of War 1 is also just a preachy game. Like every revenge story is just a preachy story.
Now it's later revealed to Atsu that she is the Kitsune, and they have this whole coming to Jesus moment, and Atsu forgives Oyuki because that night Oyuki let her escape temporarily before being caught again. And
alright, I'm putting you in timeout because that is one of the dumbest fucking... Look at the gameplay. He's fighting in the female enemy right now. Yeah, a fucking nameless NPC is not the same thing as a fucking real character. Get that ass banned.
So as soon as someone calls you out for being stupid, you immediately switch up your stance to, oh, but it's not a big main character, therefore it doesn't matter. Jesus Christ. You said that only men are allowed to be evil. we both provided examples of women being portrayed evil. Now you're trying to switch up. Regardless, it makes a lot more sense for all of the Yotei 6 to be men, and the Kitsune specifically got kicked out and was shamed because she's a woman, because during this time period, which makes a lot of sense, women were far less respected. Like, you try to make this whole point about, oh, the Atsu hates men, and men are bad, men are only evil, blah, 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 blah. And then you've been provided with numerous examples that prove that that's simply not the case. And you're just like a fish out of water. Like, you just know you're wrong. But hey, if you want to keep, being purposefully stupid or, purposefully continuing to lie and be disingenuous, by all means, keep going.
Basically trying to dissuade Atsu from pursuing this blind path of revenge, letting her know there's more to life than just hatred, and there's this really weird sexual tension that starts to build between the two.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Which later comes to a natural conclusion that I think everybody saw coming from a mile
Dude,
away.
they literally have a fucking romantic getaway. What the fuck? Oh, are you gonna back it up with a source? Why don't you back it up with a source? You've made all sorts of claims that I'm lying about shit with a zero actual source, dude. Did you have a New York Times article to back that claim up?
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Particular type of Western writing and storytelling.
Take a shot every time Griffin straight up lies or misrepresents this game and reaches for the stars to call it woke. You will be in the
Well, you won't have to open your fucking bottle.
hospital before you even finish the video. Griffin, I want you to post the video.
Hey, I wish. If you end up in the hospital, I consider that a epic victory royale.
What?
Just for this sole purpose. Post a video showing where the sexual tension between Atsu and Oyuki is, just to see how fucking dumb you look.
The mission where she teaches you to be a shinobi. There you go.
Yeah, there's no shot in hell I'm going through a whole 30 to 40-minute section in the game just to make you look like a moron again. I asked you to provide me with an example, as in meaning you should be the one showing me where this sexual tension is, because you are the one that made the claim. And mind you, at the end of the game, Oyuki and Atsu don't even live together. Like, you just cannot make this shit up, bro. No, sorry. That was a lie. You actually can make this shit up, because that's literally what Griffin is doing.
Even bigger display. She also encounters her long-lost brother. She finds out survived his gunshot wound to the gut in feudal Japan, keep in mind.
It's not impossible to survive a gunshot wound during this time period, and he also doesn't get shot in...
Bro, didn't you just go off about how kids have a lower rate of surviving during this time period?
You mean due to starvation?
But do you really... Hold on, he's actually going to make the claim that a fucking musket shot is just something you walk off during this time period?
Explicitly the gut. He gets shot somewhere in his upper body. We don't even know what organs it explicitly hit. You can say maybe it's lucky that Jubei survived.
Oh, dude, now he's playing the semantic. Well, we don't know exactly where he gets shot in the fucking torso. Oh my god, I'm so sorry I said gut instead of torso. Fucking sue me, dude.
But it's not impossible, therefore making it not logically inconsistent. And this is also an inciting incident in the story, so arguing it's lucky doesn't even really matter. It's not an issue for a story.
Yeah, you would not walk off a fucking musket ball back then. I don't remember the exact year, but these would have been crude weapons. You would not be walking that shit off, bro. That would have ripped you apart beyond repair.
Griffin, Jubei didn't just walk this off. He was saved by a samurai who was nearby and didn't get back on his feet for weeks. Also, modern day pistols and muskets back then are not even remotely comparable. And guess what? Children can survive gunshot wounds. Modern day pistols are way more lethal than muskets were. And the reason I point out we don't know what specific organs he got hit in is because that is important in determining how likely it is for someone to survive a gunshot or any kind of injury for that matter.
To use one or even like a couple lucky things or events to motivate a character or start a plotline. I would use the same logic for like an apocalypse story, for example, where most of humanity have turned into zombies. It's really lucky that the characters in those stories have not been infected yet.
And has now been elevated to a feudal lord in the Matsumai family, which is the main feudal lord faction that is at war with Saito. So they become natural allies of yours throughout the game, and you start to rekindle the relationship with your brother, which they reiterate the fact that Atsu was the more capable sibling, she was better at everything than Hubei, which is his name, and essentially she is the man of the family, so to speak.
Ah, yes, because of course it's a problem that Jubei is less skilled in combat than his sister, who not only had better training, which the game explicitly points out that the Matsumai...
No. This was during the flashback sequences where it is constantly shown over and over and over again her overpowering her brother in everything they do. So no, this is not even a present day thing. They had the same training as kids. I don't know if he actually played this game. I'm starting to wonder. I mean, he's using someone else's gameplay, so it makes me wonder.
Oh no, you were talking about when they were kids. Whatever will I do? Explain the problem. And mind you, there is literally one, like, fight sequence between Jubei and Atsu during like the flashback scenes and it's like a tutorial thing where it's like, oh yeah, Atsu is better than Jubei at this. Why are you acting like it's, oh, Atsu is just better and better and better and better? It's like, what? And again, her being better at sword combat or just combat in general is not an issue. Again, you're only saying it is because it's a woman.
In general, do not have the best training, but she also was trained by mostly men her whole life. Most of the people that teach you things in this game are men. Do you hold the same standard on Jin because he's more skilled than everyone in that game as well, including his uncle who's been a samurai for much longer? Do you have an issue with that? Oh no, it's because Jin has a dick and balls. Was it woke and was it an issue in Ghost of Tsushima as well, when Jin learns things from multiple different women?
But together with Oyuki and Hyubei, you dismantle probably Saito's Yotei.
I dropped that dog shit game after 8 hours. I got bored as fuck.
Hang in there, Squidward. It's all part of the job.
And liberate the land, only except the Matsumai are crushed and defeated, and Saito still wins the war, despite you killing and befriending the Yotei 6 along the way, and dismantling his entire network of operatives and military, but apparently he still wins in a crushing defeat where
I'll see.
Matsumai clan are completely crippled and essentially destroyed. Now, the game never really explains how Saito's army is eventually defeated, because later on in the game it is revealed that the Matsumai do regain control of the region and are rebuilding their castle, and just some random off-the-cuff dialogue. Like, we never actually get to see these events happen on screen, so kind of odd, man. It's kind of not one of those things that I feel like that should be reserved to a one-off dialogue line. It should be instead shown on screen of how the Saito were driven out of the region by the Matsumai and how they recovered from basically being completely eradicated. But yeah, just the minor story details are missing here. But overall, yeah, we didn't really get any sort of closure on that whatsoever. I mean, I guess since Saito eventually does die, the army just immediately disbanded and said we give up, which seems very unlikely. But I don't know, man. Maybe that's how it happened back in feudal Japan, no matter how nonsensical it is.
This man gets dumber by every passing minute in
It gets dumber for pointing out a massive plot hole.
This video. How did you just say it doesn't make sense for Saito's forces to win after Atsu and the others crippled Saito's forces, which, mind you, they don't even fully do till the end of the game, and it's not even clear how canonically they go about it. Besides the point, you say that and then say it doesn't make sense for them to lose, and that we're missing a big moment where Saito's army is defeated. Like, you fucking dumbass. It's pretty easy to understand how the Matsumai eventually gain back control of the island. After Saito—
What? So after one guy dies, they somehow magically summon a brand new army to kill the army that just killed them? Again, I don't think he played this game.
No, I don't think you played this game, and I don't think you have a brain. Griffin, I just pointed out the contradiction in your criticism. You didn't listen to it, and then mentioned something completely irrelevant.
At the end of the game, before you kill Saito, he literally eradicates the entire Matsumai clan and takes over their castle. How would killing one guy undo all of that? The army still was killed. The castle has already been taken. Are you just going to magically summon a brand new army that's all of a sudden going to be able to take them on? Sorry, that's just very unrealistic.
Griffin, they didn't summon an army out of thin air. The game literally tells you that there is backup on the way from another island that is not on their current island.
So, and all of his forces' leaders have been killed, and most of their control—
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Because why would Saito leave the castle if he didn't have anyone else in charge? Again, did this guy play the fucking game? Who did he leave in charge when they took over Matsumai Castle? He would have had to leave someone in charge.
All points were taken back throughout the course of the game as well. And mind you, Saito used all of his forces that he had in the final push against the Matsumai. And it was also explained at a point in the story towards the third half of the game, when Saito first invades Oshima Coast, that the samurai have more backup coming on the way that just weren't on the island currently. Like, after Saito was killed, they have nothing to show. It's
okay, well then why couldn't they just show that important plot point? That was my entire point. They just leave it off screen. There's no actual closure. You don't get to see things unfold. That's great if it does happen, but I guess we'll never know because they didn't bother to show it.
pretty easy to infer how Saito's clan falls. Mind you, Ghost of Tsushima does the same thing. Like, after you kill the Khan, the game is basically over, and it doesn't show you how the rest of the samurai deal with the rest of the remaining Mongols, because it doesn't need—
Okay, I don't care. I don't like Ghost of Tsushima.
Need to. It's a very easy thing for the audience to piece together.
Now, the reason I let that play for so long is because my previous video is already just proving why his points are fucking stupid. His rebuttals are fucking terrible here. Griffin, the game got its closure with its main story and main character. They do not need to show you some grand, like, overview of, like, oh, this is how the Saito clan fell. It's like, no, they told you backup was on the way, you killed their leader, you crippled their forces, you took over all their outposts, you've killed all their prominent military generals. Boy, it's a real mystery how the Saito clan fell. You know what, Sucker Punch? Next time you have to show all this. Don't allow your audience to make basic inferences about information that's very easy to perceive. And to the point he made about, oh, do you think Saito just left his castle without leaving anybody in charge? Sure. you can leave someone in charge. That doesn't mean they're as good as the generals that came before. The point of me bringing up that he's killed their major generals, like the Yotei 6, is because just like in real military, once you lose those kind of people, they're hard to be replaced. They're in that position for a reason. Jesus Christ, like, you cannot be this fucking dumb.
But during the siege of the castle, which I mentioned, the Matsumai castle gets destroyed, Atsu is using Saito's son, the Spider, who's one of the members of the Yotei 6, in order to bait the other son, the Dragon, who is also a member of the Yotei 6, into rescuing him by staging a fake execution. Now, Saito, of course, sees right through this, and while he and his other son do confront Atsu, his army apparently descends on the castle, completely undetected, and even though they are still at the castle is left undefended, even though they're all at the castle awaiting the Dragon and Saito's arrival. Like, the whole story to this game is completely fucking nonsensical, man.
Griffin, they make it blatantly clear for you that they are preparing for a siege on the beach, which is where they are hanging Saito's son.
Okay, but they're still at the castle. If the beach is at the castle, they're still at the fucking castle, dog. That's like saying if I have a beach house and I walk out back onto the fucking beach, I'm no longer home.
And which is where Saito's forces are most likely to be coming from.
When you go in your backyard, you're still at your fucking house.
With this plan in play, they position their limited number of forces to defend that position, leaving the front of the castle open to be attacked at the right moment. Obviously.
And they had no guards.
All right, awesome. Thanks, nigga. All right.
No one keeping watch. Nobody had any clue that this massive army was on the move. They had no scouts, no watchtowers, nothing. A, multi-tens of thousands of person army just descended on their castle, completely undetected. There is no good explanation for this.
I truly believe that if you are this dumb, you should not have freedom. I can't lie. They need to put Griffin in the butterfly room. Let's explain this to him like a 5-year-old, because that's his level of intelligence. Hey, little guy, if you have a limited amount of M&Ms, and you use those limited amount of M&Ms for something that you really think you need in the moment, then you're not really gonna have extra M&Ms for other things. What? Yeah, I know. It's a crazy concept to grasp, but like, just stay with me here. And I like how he says this tens of thousands of people army. It's like, what are you just pulled that number out of your ass. We don't even know how many people attacked the front of the castle. We know they were getting attacked from multiple different sides, and mind you, this is a big ass castle. So acting like it's just like, oh, they don't have a bunch of watchtowers all around the castle with everybody keeping guard. It's like, bro, the game literally told you they're positioning all of their forces, which they have a limited amount of, in the position where they think the attack is most likely to come from. This is not rocket science. It's a very basic thing to understand. Could they have handled this differently? Sure, but it was a calculated risk, and when you have a limited amount, could they have handled this differently? Sure, but when you have a limited amount of forces like they do, they needed to take a calculated risk instead of leaving themselves down men. And let's say hypothetically they did have watchtowers. What's stopping the shinobi from taking them out stealthily? Did you ever think about that?
And you were left with a choice, and this is where the whole revenge bad storyline is really driven home, dude, in case you couldn't figure it out by now. But what happens at this point in the story is the Dragon and Saito confront Atsu at the execution site for the Spider, and she is given a choice, man. And at this moment, she has the option to either confront the Dragon and fight him, or flee with her brother Hyubei and Oyuki to go and rescue her niece from the castle in order to escape to live another day. Now, Atsu, really to drive home that revenge bad plotline, decides to stay and fight the Dragon because she's clouded by her quest for vengeance. And in doing so, she loses track of where Hyubei and Oyuki went. So she eventually defeats the Dragon, escapes from the castle, goes to a previous point where they decided in case of emergency, we'll all meet here. And while the only person waiting for her there is her niece Kiku, Jubei and Oyuki never made it, suggesting that they had been captured by Saito and are now being held prisoner. So from here, Atsu goes on her quest in order to find out where Hyubei and Oyuki are being held captive. But first, she does take Kiku to her old home in order to be safe, quote unquote, which if you can't see the foreshadowing a mile away, then I don't know what to tell you. You have zero media literacy whatsoever.
So let me get this straight. You just explained the story in the most basic way possible at every turn to try and make it sound bad.
I explained the story in the most basic way possible because it's a plot synopsis. But yes, it also demonstrates how fucking bland the fucking story actually is.
I don't care that you're making a plot synopsis. That is fine. But when you're sitting here trying to call the story bad, and you're not explaining the context for everything, and largely misunderstanding things that are happening in the story, that does not make it a good review.
Generic. And have made numerous dogshit criticisms about it, and have lied and misrepresented it multiple times. And you, of all people, have the audacity to say other people have no media literacy. Then, as a cherry on top to try and make yourself sound smarter, you pretended to predict that Saito would put aside his war on the island to go to Atsu's home and kill her. What a specimen you are.
Everyone knew that's what was gonna happen, bro. Everyone knew that's what was gonna happen. You're acting like this is some 400 IQ storyline that no one has ever thought of before. Oh, wowie zowie, dude. They're gonna have their final showdown in the place where it all started. Whoa, I've never seen that before. This is how you know this guy's an idiot. It was so predictable from the very beginning. That's exactly how it was gonna gonna end.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you knew that when you started playing in the beginning of the story, you know exactly what was gonna be in the ending. Sure, bud. Sure.
But yeah, the foreshadowing is on the next level. She takes Kiku to Hyubei in her old home, which she explains the events that happened there. And while she leaves her there in order for her to be safe, while she goes out on the hunt for the spider in order to track down where Hyubei and Oyuki are being held by Lord Saito. Now she goes and tracks down the spider, and they have like a little clash, but long story short, it comes down to a talk no jutsu moment where she eventually convinces the spider to turn on his father because he has daddy issues. He gives her access to Saito's castle in order for her to go and rescue Hyubei and Oyuki, and in exchange, she will spare the spider's life, and she forgives him, essentially.
Wow, another lie and baseline reading of the story. Who would have guessed?
What? That's a lie? Oh, I really can't wait to hear the explanation for this one, because that's exactly what fucking happens.
Atsu doesn't forgive the spider. She lets go of her need to kill him and spares him so that she can save the family that she still has alive. That doesn't mean she forgives him for what he did.
So she...
Oh my god. Dude, you are shitting me.
Well, she doesn't technically forgive him. She just doesn't kill him and lets him go.
Can we just, like, lobotomize this guy?
Yeah, Griffin, it's a pretty good thing to, you know, describe a story accurately and its writing accurately, as opposed to trying to make it sound as bland as possible, while also misrepresenting what actually happens. I'm sorry, that must be a foreign concept to people who have, like, you know, literally no critical thinking or media analysis skill at all.
Goes to Saito's palace, and she does rescue Oyuki and Hyubei, which
this is insane.
Apparently this entire time was just a trap. And in the meantime, Saito was headed to your original home where the game began, man. The place that started it all, baby. Apparently Saito decided to ride out there single-handedly, no guards, nobody, just him by himself and a horse, because it totally makes sense for the de facto leader of the region to ride out unaccompanied in a war-torn area to go...
Oh, I want to hear the defense of this one.
Oh, you will hear that, but I do just want to point out that while you were doing your whole, yeah, this was so predictable, I'm just that guy, I knew this was gonna happen act, the way you described the story, and you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, but I thought you knew that was what was gonna happen. I thought you knew that was the plan, right? What a dumbass.
Oh, and settle your beef with a random woman. Like, again, the writing in this game is absolutely comically bad.
And you're comically brain dead. Ah, yes, it's comically bad because Saito, someone already set up to be egotistical and also just as skilled as Atsu, who in a mission previously took out 30+ men and captured the spider. It's bad writing to have someone as skilled and even more egotistical than that person to have the hubris to ride out on his own to her house to kill her. Like, do you even hear?
Oh my god. Dog, this is great. This is literally just fucking Zog slop consumer logic.
Yeah, Zog slop consumer logic or whatever the fuck that you have literally no response to.
Yourself. Also, another lie about the story. Oyuki and Jubei were never used as a trap for Atsu. Saito literally says he doesn't even know
what?
Where she is. And Jubei is about to be executed just like any other samurai. There was no trap. If there was a trap, why would it make sense for Saito to leave his fortress?
So from here on out, you have to...
Why would it make sense for him to leave the fortress? Maybe to go get your fucking niece who you left at your house?
Oh, really? You mean the niece that he didn't even know was there and just stumbled across her when he got there? Wow. Wait, that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. You're a fucking idiot and you have no response.
Escape from Saito's palace in an epic escape sequence.
Dude, this is crazy.
Which leads to you eventually arriving at your original home, which you find Saito sitting down with Kiku playing the coin-flicking minigame that you've had to go through many times at this point in the game.
Also just want to point out another lie that I didn't mention in my original video. Him saying that you have to play the coin-flicking game many times throughout the story. Yeah, you don't have to do that. You only have to do that like a couple times. I actually think you only have to do it like literally once in the main story, and the rest is like a bounty thing where it's like, yeah, this is a part of the mission, but the rest are just completely optional. It's like if you want to play it and, you know, try and make more money, go for it. Also, I don't even see how that minigame is bad. Like, that shit's pretty fun.
Completely unguarded by himself. Now, keep in mind, Atsu has a fucking gun. In fact, she has 2 guns at this point in the story. She could easily just pull out her gun, shoot Saito in the fucking head while he's sitting down, unarmed, with Kiku, but instead, no, dude, we gotta have Maanaru, and they decide to fight one-on-one, which actually isn't one-on-one, which we'll get to.
Ah, yes, let's just have Atsu try and shoot the guy who can dodge and deflect bullets while Kiku is right next to him.
He can dodge and deflect bullets now? Is he a samurai or is he a fucking Jedi? Bro, what the fuck?
I labored day and night to make that armor as light as clothing. It should free up your movement so you can deflect their shots with your katana.
Nice. Nice. Made me happy, made me smile. Nice.
Is he gonna do a fucking Neo Matrix dodge out of the fucking way? Oh my... Dude! How is this real? How is this fucking real?
It should free up your movement so you can deflect their shots with your katana.
And yes, before someone tries to say something, yes, he is just as fast as Atsu, who can also canonically dodge and deflect bullets. Power scale.
power scaling. This guy was literally trying to tell me why something was realistic earlier. Now he's referencing fucking power scaling. Dog, go watch fucking, you know, Basketball Z and enjoy that fucking shit. It seems right up your alley.
Yes, Griffin. Stories can use fictional and non-fictional elements. What? And I hope you know this, but in basically every piece of action media, power scaling is a part of writing. It's not just a what character beats who. It's something that you need to use so that your characters and your stories stay logically consistent. Why do you think it can be a problem in writing if a character loses or wins a fight that they shouldn't?
And things of that nature. Even though these games do try to stay reasonably grounded, they still require unrealistic elements to function as stories. Otherwise, Jin and Atsu would not be able to do the things they do. Besides the point, even when, you know, Lord Saito lets Kiko run away, Atsu still wants to talk to him.
Yeah, he watches way too much fucking anime, bro.
I watch way too much anime because I know how writing works. Okay. But I have watched 4 pieces of anime media in my entire life. 5 if we include the Pokemon animated series. And these were all bangers. So, you know.
Before the fight starts, because of her obvious personal feelings that she has. Hence another reason she doesn't just whip out her gun and shoot Saito. Mind you, she literally has 2 musket-type weapons, which aren't exactly quick in combat, especially in close...
She has a pistol that was specifically stated to be used in close quarter combat, you fucking tard. If you want to talk about, oh, he's misrepresenting the plot, well, you're misrepresenting the weapon.
Griffin, the side mission says that it's better than rifles in close quarter combat because it has a shorter barrel and quicker handling. But when you actually need to reload that weapon, it's not good when you're fighting someone with a katana right next to you.
And again, Saito can dodge and deflect them. And before someone says, oh... Well, actually, the pistol is actually pretty quick in combat. Yeah, that's gameplay stuff. No musket-type weapon in real life in that time period was actually like that.
But during your... You pull out the musket and pull the trigger. Yes, it was.
Yeah, and what happens when someone dodges or deflects that shot and then you have to reload as they're coming at you with a katana? Please tell me. You know, you just laughing at the fact that these characters aren't realistic in a fictional world doesn't make my point bad. But I don't know, maybe once you get some media writing, analysis, any kind of skill in that department, you'll understand that.
Sequence where he disarms Atsu, and as a result, Atsu is basically on death's door. She's about to die, which prompts Hyubei to charge in to defend you. And as a result, Saito skewers him with a sword in the chest, killing him, and you then pick up your sword and finish the fight, man, by pinning him to the same tree he pinned you, driving your sword through his heart, you know, completing the cycle of revenge once and for all until only one person is left standing. But because of the death of Hyubei, Atsu and Oyuki decide that it's time to put up their swords, and they settle on raising Kiku themselves to honor the memory of Hyubei. And that is exactly where the game ends. It literally ends with Atsu and Oyuki essentially becoming a lesbian couple and raising another man's child. Where have we seen
where have we seen that before?
Something very fucking similar.
No pattern recognition, guys. Don't turn off your pattern recognition immediately.
For that before, in a modern Sony game, I'll give you a hint. It ends with a 2.
Griffin, that's not even how The Last of Us 2 ends, and I've already explained the very blatant...
Oh my god. Well, technically, that's not how it ends. Okay, bro, whatever.
Differences between those 2 stories, and also, there's not even...
Oh my god, this is funny as fuck, man.
And a hint of romance between Oyuki and Atsu, you're just blatantly lying.
But that is the end of the story, man. It's incredibly uneventful. It makes no fucking sense.
It makes complete sense and has plenty of eventful things happen throughout the campaign and side content. You're just a lying, media illiterate lobotomy victim.
They never explain how the Saito clan is...
Dude, you're a fucking rape victim because you're mentally fucking raped, bro.
Ironic. Driven out of the region because Saito literally just died himself. I would assume he has plenty of generals and military leaders that could easily pick up the mantle and maintain control of the region. But again, we're basically just written off that plot point in a singular line of dialogue where Kiku mentions that they're rebuilding Matsubai Castle. But that is the end of the story. It's essentially a revenge bad. When you set out on a quest for revenge, dig 2 graves. All of which has been said before in better stories, man. So this just genuinely was painfully mediocre.
So you think that Saito just has people just as good as him, just as smart as him, just as skilled as him that can easily replace him? Yeah, okay, where is that in the...
Yes. I guarantee you could easily find somebody.
Story? Oh, right, it's non-existent because anyone else even like that in the story was killed by Atsu. With revenge. And that's not even Atsu's ending. Like, holy shit, the story is about fighting for the family and things that you have in the present instead of letting the past throw that all away. And you say it's been done before and done better. Yeah, okay, show me one story that has the same type of antagonist, the same world building, the same side characters and stories, like plot lines, and
Assassin's Creed Shadows. It is a carbon copy.
The same main character arc. Name me one story that does all of those things the same way, and
Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've done that several times throughout this video.
Alright, well, I'll leave that final part to the audience to for them to let me know whether he's lying or not, because I don't care to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. But, knowing Griffin, he is lying. But yeah, there's a little bit left in the stream that he responded to, but it's basically the end of my video. I think I've done enough to just show how absolutely brain dead this response was, and I don't think I need to keep putting myself through it mentally. If you would like to get some of my videos early and just, you know, support the channel, please consider becoming a channel member for as little as $1 a month. But with that said, I will see you all next time.